Hey all, here are OS Reviews. Today we're taking a closer look at 1More's PistonBuds. These are TWS true wireless buds, which are the least expensive model the company has released so far, actually selling for MRSP of under 40 bucks. Otherwise, they're part of the Piston family, which has been a really successful line for 1More because of their strong emphasis on the budget and value. It actually introduced me to this brand a number of years back, so it's great to see them continue this legacy of this original kind of wired pair of buds, which had really good sound quality for the price, now into a completely wireless form factor. Of course, they use Bluetooth 5.0, supporting codecs like SBC and AAC, although in this case it doesn't have Qualcomm aptX support, which is forgivable at this price point. With the battery case, the buds will last for around 20 hours when on the road, which is a little on the shorter side. In fact, it's comparable to the Apple AirPods, even a little bit shorter than that. After getting a full charge, the buds themselves, in fact, will last for around 3.5 to 4 hours continuously without topping up with the case, which is definitely, I wish, could be a little longer. But aside from that, very promising. Now, the packaging style is also a little different compared to their other products. It actually rips open from the side. Then we can open this side door to have access to the accessories, including a USB Type-C charging cable, along with some spare silicone tips to get a more custom fit, and finally the assortment of user manuals, although for the first time we don't get the classic 1More sticker included in the box anymore. So coming back to the design of the PistonBuds case, you can see that it does have a pretty typical shape. It doesn't draw too much attention. It's just made out of a plain polycarbonate plastic, but overall looks quite simple and elegant. We do have the Type-C port on the back for charging, some simple specs are printed on the back here, and that's pretty much it. The door opens up like so, and when you pop out the buds, that's when they actually turn on to life and begin pairing with your device. But otherwise, there's also small LED indicators on the buds themselves that will tell you their status, although it does mean that the case itself doesn't have any LED lights or accents that you can see that tells you the percentage remaining on the battery case itself. Still, it feels well put together, and the magnets which hold the buds into the case is pretty strong, and it's easy to snap them back to quickly top them up. If we do a quick size comparison, here they are next to the 1More Color Buds, which are quite similar to the 1More Stylish, which were the first generation of wireless buds from the company. And you can see the casing here is actually a little bit taller, but not too much larger overall. Here it is next to, say, Apple AirPods, also is comparable, not too far off, and Redmi's AirDots. So these are still very easy to put into a pocket. The buds themselves may not look exactly the same in terms of their exterior as the original wired pistons in your headphones, but it still has kind of a symbolic reference to it with this small divot and also a slightly larger chin on the outside that casts this kind of angular shape, which is a little bit reminiscent of the originals if you own those. But otherwise, we do have a touch-sensitive area on the top here, which allows you to do things like playing and pausing your music, skipping tracks, just like any other pair of wireless buds from 1More. These can work with their companion application that you can download. We've shown that previously, and you're able to remap the controls using the app to do different things if you want to change their layout and order, which is a nice amount of customization. Great to see. The application also allows you to do things like change the EQ as well as burn in the drivers, so it gives you some fine adjustments from the company that's compatible with all their products. As far as on the back, you can see the shape here is quite distinctive, but it is very ergonomic, at least for my wearing when I was testing them out earlier. I found them to be just super snug, and the noise isolation was one of the best yet that I've tried. They just got very tight and a great seal when I popped them in. Didn't feel loose at all, even if I was shaking my head and jumping up and down, and they felt just super comfortable. Here's a quick size comparison with the Color Buds and the same shape as the Stylish. You can see how these have more of a conventional dot-like shape versus these have a slight more stem to them. That's the difference there. The stem is still going to be much shorter by contrast, and versus something like Redmi AirDots, you can see that the size here is about the same. So these are pretty compact. As the least expensive option from their collection, it is missing a few of the other features that we found on the Color Buds, such as the ability for you to automatically play and pause the music by removing these, which, because they had a kind of ambient IR sensor there for wearing detection, but of course these ones don't have that, which is reasonable at this reduced price point. Moving into performance and audio quality next, let's just cut to the chase and say it. These are perhaps the best sounding sub $50 TWS buds on the market right now. In terms of the sound quality, it's really a huge selling point here. In fact, they're just super rich, extremely clean, and filled with detail that I just thought was impossible to find at something so inexpensive. In fact, the sound profile is perhaps even better than some $200, $300 TWS buds I've tried in the past. That's just how good these are. And that amazing sound definitely saves this product in a sense, because we've been talking about how it is cutting down on some of the other extra features which we saw before. At the end of the day, sound quality is the most important thing, and thankfully that's where they focused all of their resources and energy into and got it absolutely right. Now, starting with the bass is just super powerful on these, just like the original Piston wired headphones. If you've tried those, they really pack a huge punch. It kind of shakes and rumbles as it hits a drum beat, or if you're listening to EDM music, so if you're a bass head, you will love these. And doesn't really distract from enjoying the mids and trebles either. Mids in particular really shine when you're listening to instrumentals with strings, as well as with vocals. It just really is filled with detail and warmth. Even trebles don't really have weaknesses. If you're listening to vocals, you can hear all the various textures of a singer's voice. It definitely doesn't sound compressed, doesn't sound like it's too shrill or distorted, definitely doesn't sound muffled either. It just sounds very clean, crystal clear, and crisp. So just is filled with nuances and details, again, that I thought was just impossible to achieve at this price. Connectivity is also very stable, so no issues in terms of dropping a signal or anything like that. I could walk around the room and everything still played back smoothly. Same thing goes with playing and pausing the music. Left and right sides always were connected without any problems, especially for listening to music. Also for watching videos for things like YouTube and Netflix, I would say it's still very much usable. Never found the video and audio to really get out of sync to the extent that it was distracting. If it's not clear by now, I would say, again, one of the best sounding TWS buds I've ever tried in this budget territory. In fact, it's almost as good, and if not rivaling 1More's own more expensive color buds and stylish TWS buds. Perhaps if you want to do a side-by-side comparison and wearing both after each other, the color buds perhaps have a touch more detail at times in their trebles, but that's really nitpicking, and the difference is hard to tell if you're not wearing them one after the other. For the casual consumer, these do well for pretty much any genre of music that you're listening to, and are easily better sounding than the Redmi AirDots, and also even the AirPods, which are of course more expensive than these. So truly excellent sound. So you can check out more details if interested, but for now that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. That's been the 1More PistonBuds.